mi gente, how are you? Welcome to the latest episode of Chateau Bow Wow. I am your host, Geraldo J. Uscategui. My friends call me Jerry. And speaking of friends, I'm here with a new friend, kind of a friend-in-law, I guess now.
Yep.
Since,
Friend-in-law, I like that.
This is, Chuti is a super, super talented actress. We made an acquaintance, obviously, in LA, and I met her through her very talented husband, Uscategui, also an actor and director. And we've all been hitting it off, and we've all been trying to work together at some point. And they were kind enough to come in and fly from LA in this mess of a federal shutdown. And I'm super thankful for them for coming. But that's enough from me. Judy, introduce yourself. Say hello.
Hello, everyone. Thanks so much for joining me and Jerry today. My name is Chuti too. I am a half Filipina, half Chinese, 100% American actress, writer, producer, maybe someday director, cat mom, awesome. I like to say wife, daughter, auntie, friend. The list goes on. Yeah. Occasional meditator when I remember to do so. So
Isn't it important though? I started meditating probably, I don't know, like 20 years ago. I'm not flexible. I'm built like a fire hydrant. So I don't bend very well, but I am able to get my mind in a good space.
that
Yes,
is
that's-
awesome to hear.
Yeah.
And isn't it the truth? Like meditation does something where it makes me realize that what seems real is totally impermanent.
Mhm.
And I make up a lot of shit in my mind
We all
and
do
I
that.
think it's real and it's really not. And let's face it, just wait 5 minutes, 5 years, 5 decades, things change.
It'll pass.
Yeah.
It'll pass. Yeah, and that's an amazing thing. And again, we're off to a different start than I thought, and it's awesome, right? Because it's
Right?
just conversation, right?
Totally. I love it.
I always worry about just diving into it. I'm always diving about just getting to business. I'm super, super pro Latino, and I want to, again, and super brown people moving up.
Bueno.
Brown of all sorts.
Right.
I don't think we get a fair shot when it comes to Hollywood and and letting things getting shows and TV and movies time to develop. So anything that when I see anything that's minority driven, it's strong, and I love it.
I do
I
too.
love it. I love it.
Thank you.
And if it has nothing to do with again, the drug dealers and stuff like that, that's fine, for in this time, but that's not all the stories we have.
Absolutely.
So it's a weird way to segue from meditation, but
Yeah, that's true.
But,
Meditation, drugs. No, I'm just
yeah. I mean, they're not necessarily, again, sometimes they can be related.
Sometimes they can be induced. Yes.
Achieving a different plane, I guess,
Yes.
But you're awesome. You're an awesome actress, and I've seen
Thank
you
you,
now in
Jerry.
several things. Tell me about A Hot Summer Night, which was an intense movie that I thought, but it was cool the way you guys did it. Your husband Oscar Tori directed, right?
Yes.
And you are so comfortable. You are so natural. It's a kind of risque film a little bit, right?
A little bit.
But you guys are so cool where you made it part like just for conversation. Like it didn't seem taboo to me.
I'm
And it's
so
awesome.
glad. I'm
It's
so
awesome.
glad. Well, and that was not our aim in terms of, focusing on the taboo or the sexuality, so to speak.
Right.
But really, it was the brainchild of Oscar Torre, who
Mhm.
I am blessed to call my husband and life partner, but extremely talented actor, writer, director, producer. And when he came to me with this story
Mhm.
and said, "How would you like to play the lead role, Summer?" My mouth just about hit the floor. I was like, heck yeah. Oh my gosh. Like, who wouldn't love to just dive into this, take a big bite and dig deep? And what's so great about a story like this and a role like this is that while some of the details might be completely different to what I have been exposed to or experienced in my real life, it's very universal in
Right.
terms of the self-doubt, the judgment, the fear, the isolation. So I just jumped in with both feet and I had a blast doing it. I have to say, it's weird when an artist, you hear them say, "It was so much fun going through all of that pain and despair." It seems like, what are you talking about? But what the reason why it's so much fun is I think I, as an actor, and many artists, we get to tell other people that they're not alone.
Right.
Like, you have, in my case, Summer, my character, my mother in the story has cancer. Who hasn't had a friend or maybe even yourself or a family member encounter health problems that are extremely challenging, and how do you deal with those? And that's just, one sliver of the pie of a hot summer night.
Yeah, it was, and again, I had chatted about this with Oscar before. It really got into the need for human interaction, and it really got into like, I don't know if you guys intended it. He said that it was kind of part of the package where you acted also as a therapist, and that was super impressive because people see it and people see skin, people see like I said, whoever it is that they want to see. You said they judge it. No, she's a stripper or she's a performer, but then you got into how people just need to talk to each other, and it was during COVID, right? So people were especially lonely.
Oh, you hit the nail on the head. I feel like COVID was such a petri dish that really shined a severe light on the human experience of needing connection. And hey, we're not in lockdown anymore, but I would dare say that with all of the polarization, not just in the US, but around the world, that we are isolating ourselves even further because people tend to be like, okay, I don't want to listen to other people. I'm right. I'm scared. I'm fearful. I might lash out. It's a strange form of isolation. And I think it's really important that we look at how can we possibly connect and see how we can understand each other, if at all possible.
Yeah, I think that you're incredibly brave. I gotta say, you're very comfortable on screen, and again, I'm not. But you're super brave, and it's just the roles you take on. You're fearless. Were you always that free and that open to just say, "I'm going to do this," and I'm just going to dive into it and without fear of anything?
Okay, so I will say yes, unless I have to hit a ball with a bat or a racket. That
Really?
is my yes. And my husband, Oscar, will tell you when it comes to sports and a ball,
Hmm.
and especially if there is a bat or a club or a racket or something, I must not have been blessed with that gene because I kind of suddenly shut down and get really, really nervous.
Really?
Seriously, I would, yeah, if I have to do a role as a baseball player, which let's face it, probably won't ever happen. But I mean, I would be challenged by it. I
Right.
wouldn't say no,
Right.
but I would say that would be more challenging than anything I've ever done before.
Okay. All right. Well, listen, I've seen you in several TV programs. What would you say is your favorite? You've co-starred. I mean, I'm sorry, guest starred several times, right?
Yes, yes.
What would you
Yes, right.
say is probably the most fun you had being a guest star and like the most pivotal role?
So there have been several. I have been blessed to play a lot of professional roles like a judge on How to Get Away with Murder, a reporter on Yellowstone, a lawyer on Nashville. These professionals, physicians, nurses, things of that nature. Uh, I like to go back to one a long, long time ago, uh, which was L.A. Dragnet when I played a Filipina Muslim immigrant, and I think it really spoke to how we tend to stereotype other people. And a key theme in that story was that just because I'm Muslim doesn't mean I'm going to be a terrorist or I have terrorist leanings.
Right.
So in the story, I was, a suspect for a kidnapping, and it turns out it wasn't me. But yeah, I am very much drawn to projects that have an undercurrent of justice.
Right.
So, a film that recently came out that I was really privileged to be a part of. It was called Lily,
Mhm.
starring Patricia Clarkson, and
Okay.
it's a biopic about Lily Ledbetter. Lily Ledbetter, the Lily Ledbetter Act was the first bill signed by President Obama, and basically it was in response to all of the injustices in the workplace that Lily Ledbetter encountered. And wow, for me to be, and in that story, I got to play her husband's oncologist, and that's part of the B storyline, that not only was she fighting for justice in the workplace and looking for major legal change, she was also dealing with challenges at home, which so many of us, encounter also in our own lives. Uh, but it's so great to be part of stories like that. You know what I mean? That where you're
Sure.
like, this has made monumental change in history, and how great to be one of the mouthpieces to share the story.
I I I enjoy Yellowstone quite a bit. It seems to be something that really caught on. I don't know if you saw the what do you call it, the all the spin-offs. Did you see them?
Oh, okay. So Oscar and I are catching up on all of the spin-offs. I mean, and it's so great because in a way, self-realization, actualization, making your dreams come true, making your mark on the world, staking your claim, not giving up, all of these themes,
Mhm.
love them.
Yeah, yeah. But I think the 1883 is the one with the settlers, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes, yes.
yeah.
Helen Mirren and Harrison Ford, I
Uh
believe those. Oh,
they
yeah,
really,
I believe that's the one they're in.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Marshalls is the new one, I believe. Marshalls is the new one, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah,
And one show that we've really gotten into lately is Landman with Billy Bob
it
Thornton,
is.
Ali
Isn't it
Larter.
great?
Oh my gosh, Demi Moore. Oh my gosh, John Hammond. Phew, incredible. Yeah,
Yeah.
so much fun.
Landman reminds me a lot of the other one, Goliath. Remember Goliath?
Yeah.
So it's very similar. He's a very
Mm,
similar character. He gets his ass kicked all the time, but he's such a good actor that you
he's
buy it every
so
time.
fantastic. Would love to work with him someday. Let me
Um,
just put that out there. Yeah.
yeah, that'd be nice, right?
Yep.
I hope to, again, and I shared a lot of topics. The same thing with Oscar is, obviously I'm a filmmaker as well, and our film is now streaming on Amazon.
Flux. Yes,
Yes,
congratulations on that.
thank
I'm
you.
so excited.
And now
Yeah.
we're a distributor, brother and sister now.
That's right. I feel like we're
Yeah,
kindred spirits. Yes,
yeah.
with
So
indie rights.
the indie
Shout out
rights.
to
Yeah,
indie rights
yeah. Big shout out to Linda Nelson, the crew over
and
there.
Michael Madison. Yeah, fantastic team.
Yeah, really good. I picked them because they're so trustworthy. They have such a stellar reputation. And how do you feel about getting to into that kind of when you go to that table, because there's so many people that are unscrupulous in this business, and then you get somebody who, again, every room I went to, every question's like, what do you think I should do for distribution? Because we had several offers. I mean, 8 times out of 10, probably indie rights is where to go. They're so honest, they're so transparent. And, so that's why I chose them. And what has been your experience with that?
Bingo. Exactly what you just said. I feel like holding up a mirror. Transparency is so important. I mean, legalese, contracts, all of that. You know what comes in, what their cut is. There are no smoke and mirrors or anything like
Right.
that. And so it also gives us the not just encouragement, but the confidence to continue working with them and continue our filmmaking journey with them.
Yeah. What is probably something, or I wouldn't say what is, but who is, I don't know if you could name names. We don't want to do that. We don't want to get sued. We
Okay,
don't need that.
true, 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 true.
So,
We can.
but a terrible experience with the distributor. Have you had that? Because I have not yet.
Oh,
Obviously, it's
oh,
my
knock
first
on
film.
wood. Right, 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 right. Uh, actually, I am thankful that we can say we haven't encountered a direct nightmare experience with a distributor. Have seen um, either presented to us or to colleagues of ours
Mhm.
contracts where you're like, what? You want what? Contracts where basically, if you read between the lines, you're giving away your film for free,
Yeah.
and you're saying that, they can recoup costs for how many decades or what have you. I'm kind of exaggerating, but
Right.
these are clauses that you want to look at, comb through with a fine comb, and make sure that basically you don't get taken advantage of. Now, here's something I would like to say. I think it's important.
Go.
Um, to not necessarily think, oh gosh, there are so many jerks and sharks out there and whatever. What it is everyone is trying to make a living, trying to make ends meet. How can we, or I, Mr. Ms. Distributor, uh, make this a viable income source? And so that's what people do sometimes, these weird contracts. And
Mhm.
instead of taking it personally, just being like, okay, you know what? You do you. That's not going to work for me.
Yeah.
These are the terms that I'm looking for. And you need to be really upfront about that.
Right. I didn't know a lot about this business. Unless I've been writing for a long time, and again, but it's my first time
I
actually.
love your writing.
Yeah. Oh, thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you so much. Yeah, I tend to write people like it helps me to have faces and teeth and hair and all kinds of stuff to give the character.
Yeah.
So when I got to meet you, we had dinner in L.A. I think 2 years ago now.
Yeah.
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 And I was like, I see her. And I've seen you on TV, obviously, several times. Um, and it was just like I see you, and I could see you doing this. I could see you doing that, and I've written you a few parts already.
You have.
You
Thank you
know,
very much. Yep.
and it's just I want to set the table for what we want to do in the future.
Absolutely. I look forward to it. And I really love our collaborative conversations where sometimes our ideas piggyback on one another, or like you'll give me something that'll inspire me or vice versa. And yeah, it's great to see how we artists work and collaborate, because this has probably happened to you as well. But things that I've collaborated with, or just even just had simple off the cuff conversations with people, it turns out 10 years later, it's finally coming to fruition, just like Oscar and his, the thing that he's going to be working on
Well,
soon. And then I have a script that I am working on, a pitch deck. I'm also working on another script with a co-writer. I think it's really important that we artists keep on moving the needle in whatever way we can.
yeah, I how do I put it? Again, I'm kind of new in town, right?
Oh, I don't know about that.
when it, when it comes to showbiz, I guess I'm kind of new in town. But I try to keep a positive attitude, and like people come to me and say, "Hey, want to do this, want to do that," and I'm like, "Sure, let's go. What can I do to facilitate that?" And it's not about again, just kind of because that's also. What I've seen is a lot of people hit me up on Instagram and Facebook and say, "Oh, I can help you do this. I can help you get distribution. I can help you do this." And I go, "Okay, well, what have you done for your own project?" And they have nothing. So if you can't get
Right.
your own project, how are you going to help me? And I think that's part of the business being predatory. But even people that are, not even the gatekeepers, the people that just want to lock onto your project and say they want to help you, but honestly they're looking to latch on. You know what I mean?
I do know what you mean. And
Yeah,
and actually that part, I think it's a challenge to not be exhausted, because by that kind of leak of energy,
it's
it's like,
true.
okay, let's get back to the work at hand. Let me get back to my
Yeah.
path, not these other side conversations.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's so important. You and Oscar have a really kind of a power couple thing and a strong team going. It's really impressive
Thank
because
you.
you're both uber talented. And again, I watch you guys work, and I'm like, wow, again, then you guys go home afterward. That's the cool part. So you got, how the conversation is like, well, I was thinking about this for this part. So how does that go at night?
Oh, I love that you asked that, because to me, that's one of the, I'm just going to call it a gem, or a facet of the gem of the relationship I have with Oscar. And by the way, when I say that, this is not to say that we never fight or we never argue, because let me tell you, he is Cuban. I have a hot temper just by birth. It's genetic. And so we know how to butt heads. Let me just say that.
Mhm.
Uh, but in terms of, we bounce off, I like to call it creation work, where we're creating a role, inhabiting a world, putting on this character and becoming it. So I don't talk about a character like her and she, it's more like I.
Right.
And Oscar does the same. And we will talk about these roles like journeys or paths or worlds, and bounce ideas off one another, and give each other ideas. It's almost like a chemical magic, I think.
All right. Tell me about Prisoner's Daughter.
Oh, yes. So, directed by the fantastic Catherine Hardwicke, and it
Mhm.
is a very heartwarming story. Uh, it was with Brian Cox and Kate Beckinsale. I almost, you know how sometimes you blank and I'm like, I see her face. What's her name again? Stars Kate Beckinsale, and it's definitely it's a drama and it's a very redemptive story. I read this script and what I was blown away. So I was very happy to be a part of the story. I am the significant other, the feisty sidekick of Ernie Hudson. So,
Okay.
and Ernie is the best friend of Brian Cox, and it was wonderful to work with all of these people. The biggest challenge of this particular film is we shot on location in Las Vegas, and it was 120 degrees.
But it's a dry heat.
Yeah, that's what I hear. But it's a dry heat. Oh my gosh. We had to make sure that people didn't pass out from the heat. It was hot. And I played a boxing trainer in a gym, and it was a lot of fun. Yeah. I, training these professional boxers, there were times holding the heavy bag where I was like, oh my gosh, you don't need to hit that hard.
You know what's funny? I was actually a scene partner unintentionally with Ernie Hudson on the
Really?
set of Blue Bloods.
Oh my gosh, how
Yeah,
cool.
I was like I think a hysterical like assistant principal or something. I forgot. Again, they just they took us out of holding. Be like, yeah, hey, well, they asked for volunteers. They're like, anybody want to be in the scene? I was like, yeah, I'll go. So I'm sitting there. I'm walking around. We shot in Greenpoint in Brooklyn.
Oh yeah.
We shot in Greenport, Brooklyn. And so I walk over. He's like, "Okay, you're gonna stand here." And that, boom, face to face with Ernie Hudson. I'm like, "Oh shit, it's a Ghostbuster, right?"
Right.
Right. So,
Totally.
so my tie's a little skewed. He's such a nice guy. He's like, "Yeah, hey, how you doing?" Talk to me. He's like, "Yeah, your tie's a little whatever." So I said, "Actually, Ernie, I kind of kept it like this, so I could kind of make it pop out a little bit." And he was like, "Hey, whatever you want to do with your time." And I was like, "I'll fix it." you know. So in the scene, Donnie Wahlberg comes out, and a teacher gets assaulted, and he's the principal of the school.
Okay.
Yeah. So then the minute Donnie walks into the I walk off like, oh, I'm gonna walk away. Well, you guys have your scene,
All right. Right.
Heck, I want to look at the camera. We're like, yeah, but
Yeah,
but no.
totally.
But he was such a nice man. Like I said, again, I am. I'm in the background. He was like, let me fix your tie for you. Awesome dude.
Well, isn't
Yeah.
he incredible? In
So,
fact, I love that. Okay, we happen to be talking about him because,
mhm.
or yeah, I'm just remembering that on the set of Prisoner's Daughter, he and I started talking about a book uh, by Elizabeth Gilbert, Big Magic,
Mhm.
which is a phenomenal book for artists of every ilk, and just keeping the faith and doing it for the right reasons, not for the whatever, the gravy that can come, the awards, the income, whatever, but more for the gratification and for finding and expressing truth. We particularly talked about one chapter called Shit Sandwich. And what that
Right.
was about, I know, was in the book, Elizabeth Gilbert talked. She's a writer, and she was talking about one of her colleagues who had her colleague had initial success, but didn't like the shit sandwich that came with having to keep at being a writer. And she was like, no, 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 bring me that shit sandwich. I will eat all the shit sandwiches I need to succeed as a writer. And that idea of just as an actor, as an artist, I will eat the shit sandwich. I will do what is necessary.
It's so funny that you say that, especially that term "shit sandwich," because um, when I put our first film together, Flux, I was having this conversation, and in in the film is Guy Lemonnier, get very like a brother to me, Manny Cabo, Everett Lauser, Tony. It's a great cast. My friend Tiffany Phillips, who you know
Yes,
in
Tiffany's
L.A.
great. Yeah.
Tiffany's great. But Guy and I, because Guy was on us also, he came out as a producer towards the end, and he was like, I said, listen, we're gonna eat a shit sandwich for this. I said, this is our first film. I gotta be honest, it's my first film. I'm gonna make mistakes, and we want to get this in a can. So if people are gonna, again, there's gonna be different problems with casting, and there was, and some people couldn't make it this day, and then some. Then I had an actress who was gonna do it, then didn't do it last minute. It
Mm.
was just scheduling and stuff, and I knew that we were gonna have kind of a nightmare with travel and what's it called accommodations and hotels and flights and stuff. So Yeah, and sometimes this flare, this is true. Um, my producer's in my ear. He's like, "And tempers flared."
Oh, oh, yes.
Oh, they can hear you?
The tempers.
The temper. I am known sometimes to have a bad temper, and yeah, but it was again, it was coming on the same day. We didn't take it to bed with us, but uh, anyway, I had told Guy, I said, we are gonna eat a shit sandwich twice, but we know what? We're gonna get this movie in a can, no matter what it takes. We're gonna eat the shit. We're gonna wipe. You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
we're gonna get this film in a can, and this film is gonna open doors for us. So we're gonna eat that shit
Amazing.
sandwich. We're gonna wash it down, and probably next day have another one. But we're gonna get this film in the can, and that's what we did. And from that, I've
Amen.
gotten some from that film. I've got obviously we're streaming now, and obviously I gotten some really nice contracts after that. So that's really groovy, right?
Right, right.
But hey, it's funny you said that because this wasn't planned. You said shit sandwich. I was like, I
Shit
said that. I
sandwich.
said exact that to Guy. We don't always have to eat it, right?
Right.
But for this, we're gonna get this done. We're gonna eat it. We're gonna keep going.
And you know what? We have to be willing to eat it,
Yeah.
right? You know what I mean? It's not always going to be there, but basically, are we willing to do what it takes?
Yeah, and I'm not good at that because my entire life, I didn't get my shit together until I was like 45, or
Oh.
40, 43. So I won't brag like I don't know.
And you're 46, so no.
Yeah, yeah, you're very nice. But no, I mean, I always had a problem with that, and that's why like a lot of my relationships failed because I was like, I'm not taking no shit from nobody. I don't care. I'm that guy. So it's almost like I did it. If somebody gave me something that I had to do, or whatever, I just completely shut it down. I'm not doing that. I'm not taking your shit. But as I got older, I realized,
Ah,
you know what? Sometimes you gotta take a little shit because I'm sure I give people shit, right?
that's
And
true.
and we've said shit 40 times in the past 2
We
minutes.
have.
So how's the dynamic on set? Like, is there ever any tension on set when you're there and then maybe take it home later and argue about it, or do you guys seem to mesh seamlessly on set? Like, is there ever any kind of tension in that moment?
Okay, so Oscar has this quote he always likes to pull out of his pocket that on set is the only time I listen to him.
That's good.
Now, I will say that's not really quite true, almost, because I like to think I'm right outside of the set.
Right.
But we both wear a lot of different hats, writer, producer, actor, in his case, director. When we are both producers, let's say we're in post or what have you, or even on set, if there are things that need to be discussed, we definitely listen to one another. It's very, very collaborative. But when he is the director and I am the actor, it is still collaborative, but I know that as the director, I'm not going to step on his toes. That'd be ridiculous. I know that he is helming the ship. I might have suggestions or what have
Right.
you. So in that case, there really aren't tensions. I will say though, there are times where I'm big on tone. See, I'm a wife, okay, and I'm also sensitive. So I suddenly feel like I'm channeling Ali Larder's character in Landman, where it's like, I did not like the way you talked to me. So I need to pull back, and I might tell him later at home in the kitchen or in
Mhm.
the living room, like, honey, when you gave me that direction, you sounded really mean. And I just want to bring that up. My feelings were a little hurt, but we let it dissipate. We don't,
Right.
why hold on to it? We get that in the heat of the moment. Sometimes you just bark out something. Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice. Now, with a hot summer night streaming now,
Yes.
and it's on again Tubi and Amazon, right?
Yes. And Google Play. Yeah.
And Google Play now as well.
Yes. Yes.
Congratulations, very nice. We're heading that direction as well. What do you have upcoming now?
Well, Oscar and I actually have been collaborating and filming another feature called Fragments of You, and it's rather experimental, um, along the lines of Terrence Malick, and we're very excited about that.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, yeah, and the projects that Oscar and I do together, they're always going to be very diverse and representative of the worlds that we experience. So, oftentimes, like, you've done the film festival circuit and stuff like
Yeah.
that, but certain film festivals, oftentimes they want a very strong, let's say in my case, Asian themed basis or Latino themed. And because of Oscars and my, shall we say, interracial personal and professional relationship,
Mhm.
our themes tend to be more messy and not rule defined or boundary defined. So we're excited about
I like
this,
that. I love
right?
that.
Right. It's more reflective of how I experience and we experience the world. I'm also doing another film project with Roberto Sanchez called The Cafe. He has written and he's going to be directing and starring in it. He was my uh, co-star or co-lead, if you want to call it, in Just a Man and a Woman,
Hmm.
a short that
Hmm.
Oscar wrote and directed. And then he also plays my boyfriend in A Hot Summer Night. He plays Nico, the abusive, tricky
That's
boyfriend,
right.
right?
That's
Yeah,
right. That's
exactly.
right.
So it's, as you know, it's just fun to work with people you know, like, and trust. Uh, you get each other's artistry, you can throw things at each other and that you'll roll with it.
What would you say is if you had a dream role, if you had something that you could do, something you want to nail down, kind of like your this is what I want to do my whole life, what would it be?
Okay, oh my gosh, there are so many different ones and so many different people I'd love to work with, but there are two types of roles that I haven't gotten the chance to dig into yet. One would be like Carrie Russell's role on The Diplomat.
Okay, that's a cool role.
I used to work at the U.S. Institute of Peace in
Hmm.
Washington, D.C., and I love the world of diplomacy and trying to get through the intricacies of disagreement and get us all to peace and
Right.
agreement. So that, and then something else that's really quite related. I actually started writing a script, I never finished it, about Aung San Suu Kyi, um, uh, Burmese freedom and peace fighter, if you will, and not a fighter like that, but through peace. I would love to play her in a biopic. Yes. Uh, it's been they've had quite a tumultuous history, but I have been profoundly moved by what she stands for and how she strives to put the interests of her country and her people first, but through peaceful means.
That's a great answer. That's a great answer.
Thank
Actually,
you.
yeah, really good. We haven't worked together.
Not
We
yet.
haven't worked together, but I really, really would love to. Again,
Me too.
I wrote a few things for Oscar, with him in mind. And then once I met you, and again, like I said, I saw you. I was like, yeah, she's gonna kick ass. And obviously, I saw you in a few programs and a few, couple of shows and everything. And I said, wow, she brings it. So
Thank
my
you.
hope is to one day again work because I've written a few things which you've read.
Yes.
And it's always about the funding and always about availability. And there's
Always.
so many things that go into it, which I didn't know was part of, that would be so complicated in filmmaking. Um, but I'm really happy that I met you guys, obviously, and I'm really happy that we've become friends and we've become now hopefully future collaborators. And it's an honor. It's an honor to know you guys. It's an honor to just share space with you guys and hear ideas and just get to someday work together. You know what I mean?
Amen
You know
to
what I mean?
that,
To be
Jerry.
like somebody that I see on TV, somebody I see, wow, she's so good. And then I write something and then I see you like, again, especially my words. It's like so cool.
Breathe life into it.
Yeah, and again, we haven't done that together yet, but I really look forward to it. And yeah, that's I really thank you guys for coming here because
Thank you.
sharing this space and sharing this platform with you guys is what it's about. Helping each other and I think that I hope that we'll do this in the future. I
We
really hope so.
definitely will. Putting it out there, it will
Yeah,
happen sooner
yeah.
rather than later.
I always give people their chance. Final words. Anything you want to plug? Anything you want to say?
Well, thank you so much for this opportunity, Jerry, and thank you for everyone who is watching. And please watch and rate A Hot Summer Night on Amazon Tubi or Google Play and future streaming services that will come through. It is a project that is very near and dear to my heart, and I hope it touches you as much as it touched me playing it.
That's awesome. Once again, Judy, I really appreciate you coming. This is Chateau Bow Wow. We are coming to you live from Tampa. And I really, really, they took the flight. They came here from LA in this headache of a time for, the world's upside down and on fire right now. But it really, it just means a lot to me that you guys came out here. So thank you from all the listeners at Chateau Bow Wow and from me, especially. Appreciate you guys so much. Have a good night. Thank you, Judy.
Thank you, Jerry.
Good night, guys. Stay blessed.